Is this thing live? Okay, good. Hey, it's me again from the future. Oh, man. So, I forget where I left off. Oh, yeah, I had to go, Control called me to get a job. See, when they find out here in the future that you don't have a job, you have options, right? You you have to be they have to test you to see what your aptitude is, and to see if you are a useless employee, or are you a useless eater. They kind of consider us like dogs, like cattle, and if you're working for them, they consider you a workhorse. Well, I am a workhorse, unfortunately. I have to work to make houses, to make things. I have to wake up every morning, which I'm going to be provided with a nice little alarm clock, in the form of a security guard that's going to come in my house and wake me up, along with a few other people in the building. So then we all file downstairs silently, and we wait outside for the AI bus, control bus, to stop by and pick us up. And if we don't go on the bus, then well, we get arrested. Here, if you work, you're good. If you don't work and you don't show up to work, they arrest you. If you have to work, you have to work. Because when they arrest you, they put you in a work camp anyway. So, well, there's so many camps. Most of them are, we've got a few that are in town, they're in the city, but most of them are outside the city. And they do that for a reason. The ones on the inside of the city, you work, and we get to see them work. We see them running around doing their work, and they have their little yellow vest on, and the they got a little logo on there. It says Department of Control, work release program, and they have to work for their release. They work on things like roads and trash and things of that nature, and they don't get paid. We don't get paid either. We get paid in food. You get paid in food. You get paid in brownie points. Yeah, brownie points. You get to live. That's a great reason to work, right? And so the work camps that are outside the city, those are the ones you don't come back from. Yeah, they a little bit more dangerous, and that's why they go out into the city. They're dealing with radiation. They're dealing with other things, food production, and they really don't want to tell us what's in the food. I get green cheese since I work at this place. Basically, what we do is we take the destroyed buildings that are reduced to rubble. We take that rubble, which comes to us by big old dump trucks, put on conveyor belts, and we have to sort through, find masonry, find rock. We sort the masonry, the rock, the wood, and the metal. The metal is coveted. The rock is everywhere. We can find rock anywhere. Well, we use that too. The wood gets put in a special pile, and they take it to a kiln, and they do stuff with it. It gets taken away. We never see it. But yeah, that's my job. But because of what I'm doing, I have to get a job. I have to get an implant. There's no way around it. I've tried. I've tried to think, how do I get out of this? I have to go to work. I have to get an implant, a a a compliance a compliance implant, which they literally just make a small little incision in your head, and they insert this little worm-like thing that burrows into your brain and spreads out these graphene fibers that make you compliant. And so the way it works is that anyone that is a control employee, that is your boss, they carry around a little badge. And that badge is basically a RFID kind of transmitter. And yes, you guessed it, the implant is the receiver. So it compels you to do what they say when they say it. And they judge your non-compliance in the testing. So you actually have to fake compliance, or they will find you unworthy and unemployable, and they will scrap you. Doesn't mean that they kick you off back into the general population. It means that you get to go to a work camp where they force you to work until you die. So, and you don't talk to anyone. There's no talking. Very rarely do you talk to anyone that's working, because it will get you in trouble. No talking. And if you do talk, you might say the wrong thing, like "this job sucks," or "man, I'm hungry," or any kind of complaint. You're done. There's no complaining. So it's kind of scary, folks. I've managed to stay pureblood and implant free during this occupation. But it appears that I'm going to have to get the implant. Man, if I get the implant, I got to get the job. I got to get the implant. If I don't, my only other option is to run to the creek. I don't know. I don't know if I want to live in the creek. It's a hardship. It's cold. I have to find my own food. I mean, me and my dog find food out there anyway. But it's to supplement. I can't. I don't know how to grow food. I know a little bit. I'm growing a potato. I don't know how to do that on a large scale basis in the woods near a creek. I don't know. But at least out there I'll be free. Here I am not. Here I have to work. I have to do what they say. I have to be compelled. I have to allow myself to be compelled to do what they say. There's so many stories of the compelling. If your boss doesn't like you, sometimes they will literally just tell you to put your hand into the machine, or walk off that cliff. Go ahead and walk into traffic. They will compel you to do things to to mess with you. There's actually been reports of arranged fighting where the boss would compel two people to fight. Also, for women, they would, and some men, they would compel them to do sexual things. But you can resist the compelling. The implant only compels. It doesn't force you. There's different levels of implants. It appears that I'm getting the mild version, the welcome to the corporation implant, which merely is a suggestion or a compelling. So whatever they tell me, I really want to. It feels like you really want to do it, but you can still resist. But when you do resist, there's a lot of shaking and jerking going on. It looks like you're going through a seizure, and they can see that, and they judge that, and they go, oh, something's wrong with you. You don't think like us. And you know, they see enough of the non-compliance to know that, you know, okay, well, they deal with it. You know, sometimes it's a glitch. But for them, they truly believe that if you are not complying and you don't like to comply, then something is wrong with you and you must be tested even more. So it's kind of scary, folks. I could be whisked away to a lab somewhere and studied for my non-compliance, and to see how non-compliant I am, which in turn they use in research to make their more compliant implants. The most compliant implants are the military implants. They just literally take you over. You have no control. Oof, excuse me. I actually had some green cheese. Doesn't taste like cheese, but it has the consistency of cheese. But man, it really doesn't set well with me. But it's food, and I need food. I don't know if I want to give it to my dog. I've done it before, and last time she had the shits. When humans eat the green cheese, oddly enough, there's no number two. You don't poop it out. It stays inside you. So it makes you very full. That's what it's designed to do. The green cheese. So you don't feel the hunger. They say it's got nutrients in it and stuff, but I think it's just got enough to keep you alive and to keep you going. You do get a little energy zap from it, which is neat. You know, it's the closest thing we have to coffee. when they put their energy inducing things in it, in their food. And they do that for the working class, because we need energy to work, right? But they monitor us to make sure that, you know, it's not like, you know, addicting, because you can get addicted to it. But yeah, folks, I'm having to go to work, and I have to show up for testing. And the testing is pretty rough. First off, they throw you in a room, and they have all these monitors and cameras on you, and they've got, you know, they hook you up, and, you know, they're monitoring your heart, your brain waves, and your eye movements, and everything, and your blood pressure, and, you know, everything. They're monitoring everything, and then they ask you a series of questions, starting off very, very nonchalant. Do you like kittens? Does the sun feel warm on your face in the morning? You know. And then they move on to other questions. Or have you ever thought about, doing something bad, saying something wrong? Have you ever conducted wrong speak? And wrong speak is anything against control, against this world, against any kind of complaining, anything that they deem unfit or wrong speak. And well, you can get arrested for that. And like I said before, you don't want to get arrested around here. The cops will whoop your ass and take your shit. That's the way it is. So, but yeah, the testing, and they test you, and then they make you do things and carry boxes and open doors and push buttons, and they see how smart you are, and you got to be careful there too. What they're looking for is they're looking for someone who has the immediate response to orders gene. That's how you survive around here. And they want to make sure that you're sickly enough so that they like you sickly and weak, but not so sickly and weak that you can't work. Well, people are different, so they kind of look at me and go, you're kind of big and strong there for everybody else, which is not normal. Being big and strong is not normal. So they're going to ask me questions about that, and I'm just going to tell them that it's my genes. I'm going to lie. I'm just going to lie and say, yeah, I'm sick. I'm sick and I can't get around too good. So we got to mope around, maybe walk with a limp or something, work on their sympathy, which they really don't have any. But they want to see you. They want to see you sick and starved and downtrodden. That is the normal around here to fit in. Anyone that's not, then you're probably a cop or you're control, and you stick out like a sore thumb. So, and you'll see that too. You'll see plants undercover. There'll be some undercover where I'm working at, so I can't talk. I have to watch what I say. I'm not going to talk to anyone. Even if they talk to me, it's you got to be careful, because you never know who's control. And they will. What they like to do is they like to, arrest you, torture you, and then interrogate you. And then what happens after the interrogation is well, it's up to them, really. You can go work in the mines, work in the camps, and it all depends on which camp you go to. Do you go to a re-education camp? Do you go to a legitimate work camp for X amount of months, or do you go to the work camp which you don't come back from? So, yeah, that's what we're facing. That's what I'm facing. It's kind of scary, folks. Kind of scary. But yeah, we'll see. Oh, and I gotta get clothes, and this implant changes you. You become a corporate little slave, and you toe the party line. And they say it shuts off after work, but it does monitor you, and it does monitor you and send reports back. They read my implant every day in the morning of work to see what I did. And it gives them intel about, what my body did. Uh, like I said, it's a low level implant. It can't see what I see. It can't experience what I experience. It can't hear what I'm saying, but it can tell them what my body is going through, and that they have little algorithms that tell them, oh yeah, he was running, or he was eating some food, and this that it wasn't our food because his body reacted differently, and so that they're really worried about us eating other kinds of food and not their food. Um, people, like I said, they eat rats, they eat birds if they can find them. Uh, and of course, pets and people. That's a big thing too. People will eat each other, but their food suppresses hunger. Yet it just gives you enough to survive working. Yeah. Oh, I get some water too. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I get a little water jug to carry around with me at work. You know, yeah. It's a two quart bottle, and that's pretty neat. That's all I get. Uh, you know, I fill it up in the morning, and it lasts me all day, regardless of the temperature, regardless of the output. Um, they uh they they said that they keep the place really, really, really cold. It's a plant. It's a factory-ish kind of plant, control plant, and they keep it really, really cold in there. Everybody, everybody bundles up or not. I don't know. You have to wear what they give you, and nothing else. So, and then of course they search us afterwards to make sure we're not carrying anything. Because oddly enough, is that because I've been to the rubble piles, the skeletons of society, as we've called them, and you can find things in there. They're pretty neat. Uh, so it's kind of like scavenging, and pretty cool that we're going to be getting stuff from the skeletons. Um, so the reason why we have skeletons is we had a bit of a war here. Like I said, the the early days of the resistance, they came out in the open and openly fought control, which of course they were just ultimately just destroyed out in the open. So they went underground, started working in the shadows. I sure hope that they find me. They give me a chance. I don't know, folks. I'm torn between do I take this job or do I run to the creek? I don't know. I don't know. Only time will tell. And you're getting this transmission in the past, so I know you. Back in the day, it was the thing. Everybody wanted to work. Yeah, it's work. Well, now work can be very dangerous, very unbeneficial to you. So it's best to lay low and stay out of the eye. Don't stick out, because once you do, you disappear. Yeah, such is the new world we live in. So I go tomorrow early in the morning before the sun comes up, and I I go for testing. It's an all-day ordeal, and I've had jobs before, so I know what to expect. And I know this part of the corporation, the control, this corporate, this corporate entity of control. It's all control owned. There's no businesses. You know, there's corporations, but they're all control. Uh, but it's just, it's just remedial. It's just labor. You know, I don't want to show how smart I am. I used to read books. Oh man, I used to read books. And now I find myself trying to remember the books that I read. You know, and every now and then I have a few books, if you will. Some of them are, I have I have the manual for a '97 Toyota Celica. It shows all the parts of the. I don't have a Toyota Celica. Nobody has a Toyota Celica, but I have the book and I read it. I read it constantly, and I have to hide it in my little cubby hole. It's prohibited. I know, a Toyota Celica manual, but it's a car. But with this, I could build a car. Anyway, yeah, I'm not building a car. I would never get away with having a car. No. But things like that, magazines, some old newspapers. I've seen that people actually try to preserve some of the old newspapers from the past, from the early 1900s and 20s. So, yeah. Reading. There's nothing here with words now. Not a lot of people read. The signs have words, but a lot of them are pictures. Not a lot of people read, like I said. And those that can read are usually us older folk that used to read, back in our day, back in our lives, before control took over everything. And, you would have to work. You'd have to read for work. You'd have to read for school. You'd have to read for this, read for that. And you're oftentimes I was like, oh God, I want to read this crap, man. Now I wish I would have remembered everything I've ever read. Now I wish I had all those books I could just sit around and read. Yeah. Books are forbidden. So, I have to go to bed. I have to go to sleep. A lot of apprehension here. I don't know. But hey, at least I have a job.